What's up guys, Swag here. Now today I'm going to be talking about the theory if Jake Paul paid Alex Wassabi to pull out of the fight against KSI so Jake could fight KSI. So basically, Wassabi came off of a win against Deji, and KSI said that he wanted to redeem his brother after Deji lost Alex Wassabi and to fight Alex for a warm-up fight to get back into the boxing scene to fight Jake Paul. Now, Wassabi beat Deji, and Wassabi versus KSI seemed like it was going to happen, and Jake even said that Alex was working with his team to make this fight happen.
Yeah, so we're advising Alex in his boxing endeavors. So he came off a big win, and hopefully we can lock down one of these big fights with him against another big YouTuber from the UK or something like that.
So yeah, it seemed like Alex Wassabi versus KSI was going to be happening on August 27th, and they actually had a face-off before the fight was going to happen, just a face-to-face basically, and Alex mentioned something about Jake, so here's this part.
I've got the mindset of no one can beat me. No one can beat me.
You think Jake?
Okay, and I have the dog in me.
You think you could beat Jake right now? You think you can beat Jake?
Yes.
So why are you fighting me?
No, because I have to warm up. No. Also, there's a few things. Warm up, I have to show him I'm the A side because I'm fighting nobody. So if I'm fighting nobody and get a higher pay-per-view than him, what does that say about me? It says I'm the top dog. You bow down to me, scum.
Why do you have to show him that? He's ready to fight you now.
What do you mean? Why do I have to show him that? Oh, what? Have you tried the negotiations? Okay, what fight? What weight we fighting at? Where are we fighting? Where are we fighting? Where are we gonna fight?
What, you and Jake are?
I'm talking about me and Jake. Where would we fight?
You can figure it out. He's down. He's ready.
Unfortunately, Alex would pull out before the fight would happen. He pulled out of the fight due to a concussion injury. As you can see in this video, he's taking an MRI, and yeah. Jake would then tweet out on the same day that Alex pulled out saying, ha ha ha, karma's a bitch. Now, people originally thought that this was due to Hasim pulling out and not making weight since their fight was on August 6th. So maybe it was a coincidence. But if you look back a month before the fight was supposed to happen, Jake Paul said Alex versus Big Deji, check. Last step before checkmate. And then the next day, on August 6th, a day after Alex pulled out, he said checkmate, bitch. So that kills all of the, the coincidence on that last tweet. Now, KSI was prepared for Jake to sabotage the event, so KSI had a backup fighter instead of Jake, and Jake said, please reveal that fighter you contracted. I'm sure that fighter is very experienced. He beat your brother's ass too? I will pay that fighter's purse too. So this basically insinuates that Jake is saying that he paid off Alex Wassabi to pull out of the fight and fake a concussion injury so that this could set up a KSI and Jake fight. And Jake also said that Alex was his client. So, yeah. The same day he tweeted out the checkmate tweet, he tweeted out, heard that Alex is out because of a concussion. Fucked up. That was a big opportunity for Alex. He will be back. And yeah, he basically says that he'll accept all of KSI's terms. And yeah, I mean, I was weirded out how Jake was being super nice to Alex, but I mean, I didn't know that Alex was working at Jake's team, but I was so surprised with how Jake was just being super nice to Alex. Heard Alex was out because of a concussion. Fucked up. He'll be back. That raised a bit of suspicion. I'm not used to seeing Jake being nice to fighters, but it seemed a bit suspicious.
Oh, KSI's fight, man. I heard the news. It sucks for Alex. Obviously, he has a concussion. He can't fight. But now this puts KSI into a corner. If he doesn't accept the fight with me, we all just know that he's scared. KSI, I will come to London. I will weigh 180 pounds for the fight. You could be the A side. What's your excuse? Do you accept?
At first, I was on Jake's side during this thing because, I didn't know about the whole Alex Wassabi rumors. I mean, I knew KSI's trainer said that Jake paid him off like a three fight MVP deal. But I thought it was all just speculation. But I didn't see the tweets that Jake put out. But yeah, now I'm on KSI's side when it comes to the situation. And KSI does make a good point in this clip right here.
Jake Paul, no, he's full of shit. He's unreliable, and this is just how he manipulates audiences to make him think that he's that guy when he really just isn't. He does well in the chaos. He enjoys the chaos. Plus, I'm not going to just rush this fight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest YouTube boxing fight of all time, and you think I'm just going to rush it in 3 weeks? How do we even do that? He said he's accepted all my terms, but that's just him saying that online. It's all bullshit. Jake Paul's ultimate goal is to kill my event. He doesn't want my event to go ahead because it would be the only YouTube boxing event to go ahead so far this year, besides the iDubbbz one, obviously. The idea that I might get more pay-per-view buys than any of Jake Paul's previous fights from me fighting a complete nobody terrifies him, because that gives me the ultimate power, especially when we're talking to people like DAZN and Showtime and all these big boxing companies. So him saying all this shit is just a delaying tactic. Even if we send him the contract, he'll just not sign it. He'll just delay and delay until fight night, and guess what? I'm shadowboxing for the main event. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't fought in 3 years, bro. I haven't fought in 3 years. This was meant to be a warm-up fight. No one's meant to care who I fight because I'm going to beat them anyway. Even if they try their hardest, they're not going to beat me. But like I said before, whether it's Alex or whether it's Swarms, I'm fighting to get rid of the cobwebs so I can be active again in the boxing scene. After Swarms, do you think I'm just going to be fighting more nobodies? Of course not. I'm going to be upping the levels, okay? God, there's a long-term goal in all of this, and it's not just beating Jake Paul.
And JJ does make some good points, because Jake now doesn't want to fight at 180. He wants to fight at 185. So, yeah, JJ was right about the whole bullshitting thing. Fighting at any weight. And I love how this backfired on Jake, and I love how KSI managed to pull an Uno reverse on Jake and, make him go silent with the Hasim Rahman offer.
Actually, talking about Jake Paul, let me show you something. A certain Hasim Rahman has said this.
I told KSI that I will fight Jake for free on his undercard on August 27th at the cruiserweight limit at the O2. I don't know if he checked his DMs or he get my DMs or whatever, but I sent him that. I also let it be known that I would put the fight back on with Jake Paul and fight, and my only purse goes to the other percent, or the other 50% that the fighters missed out on their purse. So
which is a pretty cool thing to do. So yeah, instead of fighting me, Jake, at 3 weeks notice, why don't you fight Hasim Rahman, who you said you would fight, but then pulled out of because you got scared? You said you want to fight Hasim, so fight him on my undercard. You said you would come to England to fight me, so instead of fighting me, fight Hasim first. Okay, let me get rid of the ring rust, and then eventually we can fight each other. It's a win-win. I get rid of my ring rust, and you get the fight that you've always wanted with Hasim Rahman. But I bet you he's going to be quiet about this. He's going to ignore this and not say nothing. He's going to be like, I don't want to fight Hasim. I'm scared. Even though Hasim will be able to get to the weight that you want him to get to. And then everyone also gets paid on the undercard that never happened on your card.
So, yeah, I mean, it points to Jake actually paying off Alex Wassabi, but Alex has been denying this, and he's answered questions about his concussion and addressed all the rumors, and his responses are pretty calculated and convincing, and yeah, I don't know. But KSI's trainer said that Alex was offered a MVP 3-fight deal and $2 million. So, yeah, I don't know if that's true, but it could be. I mean, Alex's answers were very calculated. I mean, he said this in his Addressing the Rumors video, talking about the doctor's appointment.
also just wanted to ask, because a concussion, the average sort of recovery time is about 21 days, give or take a little bit. Obviously, the fight was August 27th, so you would have roughly recovered from the concussion at about a week before the fight. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you still do the fight despite getting the concussion when you did?
It was like a month before the fight, and the doctor said I had to take 3 weeks off to recover. He was like, you cannot get hit again for the next 3 weeks minimum. If you want to be safe, don't get hit for 4 weeks. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I can still train. He's like, no, you can't, like, no impact. Like, when you punch, like, it's still impact. You don't want to jostle your head around. You don't want to have, like, jolts going through you. So I was like, dang, I was training 3 times a day, 5 times a week, sparring 3 times a week, getting massages, stretch appointments, physical therapy, all these things for months, just, like, non-stop training, and then to have this taken away was rough. But for me to still fight after taking 3 weeks off, no sparring in the last month of my camp, and then still taking the fight, you know what happens if you get another concussion on top of the concussion?
It can cause things like bleed to the brain and more damage.
The doctor told me about this thing called second impact syndrome. And he said if you get another concussion on top of this concussion, it could leave you with permanent, lifelong damage. You could be in a wheelchair, or it could be fatal. And I was like, oh. So the fact that some people are like, oh, he's just not brave enough to get back in the ring. If another YouTuber got a concussion, he would still get in the ring. It's not about bravery. I'm just not stupid.
Now, one thing that caught my eye during when Alex was going on that whole monologue was that when he had to think of the second hand syndrome thing or whatever he said, he like turned his head like he was thinking, but then he looked in a certain direction. It looked like he was taking notes. So, I mean, or reading a script or something, I don't know. But like I don't know, because like, I mean, what if his team did the calculations and they researched very hard to make it seem like this was all legit? But I mean, I don't know. And he talks about the Jake rumors.
Rumours that Kalle Sauerland had, bearing in mind he's very large in the boxing world, head of Wasserman Boxing, one of the presidents of Misfits. He said in the post-fight press conference that he perhaps thought you were paid off by Jake Paul. On Twitter, they've said you were paid around $3 million to pull out the fight.
Doesn't make any sense.
True or false?
It's not true. I mean, everybody is connecting me with Jake. I don't have anything to do with Jake. KSI keeps like trying to line me up with Jake because it helps build the narrative of KSI versus Jake in the future. But I have nothing to do with Jake.
What are you doing, Jake?
Like, people think me and Jake like FaceTime every day.
Every day, bro.
I haven't talked to Jake. I talked to him once and maybe twice in the last year. And $3 million, that's a lot. That's like 6-7 times the amount I was gonna get paid. And then I saw there was like a 3-fight deal, so everybody thinks I'm gonna fight on Jake's undercard in the future.
Yeah.
There's nothing, no future, nothing going on that is having me fight on Jake's undercard.
But yeah, it just wouldn't make sense for Alex to train this hard for a fight if he was just gonna pull out. It wouldn't make sense, but I mean, it is $3 million at the end of the day, so I mean, I can kind of get that, but it's just a lot of hard work to put in. It would seem like a waste of time, but it's $3 million. Wade Plemons, who is a reliable source, said that, you know, Alex wasn't faking the injury.
I saw people online saying stuff like, oh, Alex was never going to fight him. He was always going to pull out. He was scared of KSI. For what reason would Alex solely dedicate himself to going 2 times, sometimes 3 times a day to Brian Valoria's gym? Again, a former world champion 4 times over. I saw the guys he was sparring in there. I even saw some of the sparring footage with Alex in there with cruiserweights. He had a strength and conditioning coach. He was, again, working 2 to 3 times a day in there. There's no shot Alex did not want this fight. Of course he did. And no, he wasn't scared to fight KSI. He got injured. It happens. Stop with that shit.
But yeah, you guys can let me know if you think what you think. Do you think Alex was paid off to fight? Was paid off? I have a theory that, you know, Wassabi, basically that, you know, Wassabi was training. Jake was planning this, but he didn't say anything to Wassabi. but Wassabi ended up getting injured, and when he had, a week left, and he would have recovered a week prior to the fight, Jake made the offer to him. So it wasn't like Alex faked the injury or anything. He probably did get injured, but Jake just offered him, he came up with the plot twist right after Wassabi got injured. But I don't know. Who knows? You guys can tell me what you think, and yeah.